6 o'clock
on the dot.
we are live, bro. So we are within the people.
I'm happy to see it.
We are within the crowd. Uh, Let me check something.
That's a beautiful thing.
Are you good though?
Man, I'm more than good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. If I said anything else, I'd be lying, you know. We've come a long way, you know.
Yo, man. One thing, like as I was saying, today was a good day. It could be better because uh, where is this? Oh, there it is. Uh, yeah, we're live.
All right. All right, yeah, let me try it.
You can check it on your phone as well. We are live on this thing.
All right, all right. Oh, here it is. All right, I'm with you, bro. Don't let don't let me get you distracted. I'm gonna
Okay,
multi.
yeah, I'm gonna take it from the beginning. Okay. Anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Father's Chair podcast. We're on the new time slot. Like I said, we've moved from Tuesday 3 o'clock. From now on, we'll be on Thursday 6 o'clock. That will be our time slot. One of the big things that we'll be doing is things like this. We'll be going live. We'll be discussing, talking to guest lives because it's December. People are now busy. It's difficult to get guests. Uh, Chris is not even in the province, so we met on TikTok. We're like, yo, let's do this, but logistics of flying in and out is not child's play. So, guys, welcome to the Father's Chair, where fathers meet, speak their truth, where fathers take a seat to lead and feel and be great husbands and be leaders of their communities. This is the Father's Chair, where today I've got Mr. Chris here, Chris D. That's how he
That's how I like it.
Of course, we'll give him a chance to explain who he is. But then, over and above, our topic for today is simple. It's more on belief. I'm a strong believer that you can't be what you don't know. You can't dream something that you have never seen. You can't aspire to things that you've never been exposed to. And exposure is not necessarily by going there sometimes. It could be through books, could be through dialogue, it could be through maybe TV, internet, access to TV and internet. So exposure comes in many different ways. So one of the things I've seen, Chris, is that exposure leads to great inventions. But before we get to that, who Chris?
Yo, I'm a producer. I'm a writer. I'm an actor. I'm a media person. But most of all, like the topic of this whole thing, I'm a father. Um, I'm a husband. You know, I'm a mentor. I'm an influence. Sometimes we downplay our influence, maybe because we don't have the platforms that somebody else has. But you know, influence comes in many shapes and sizes, and so I take it very seriously that the people that I meet, that you leave some type of impact on them. And so I've got older kids now, as well as I've got small ones. So like I've seen both spectrums of it, right? I've got a 22-year-old son, a 21-year-old son, and a 19-year-old daughter. I know you wouldn't imagine it, right? But I have. And so I've seen those stages. And what's interesting is that I get that chance to kind of start over, learn from those mistakes that we made as fathers, and kind of implement now. So I'm at that part. If you ask who I am, I'm all of those.
So where was Chris born?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Yep. So I'm from the States, Chicago. That's my home. Spent a lot of time in like Wisconsin, but before I came here to South Africa, spent about 15 years in Phoenix, Arizona. And so kind of been around the States.
So, quick one, eh? Since you've been here, I'll ask a it's a silly question, but not really silly.
Yeah, I'm open.
What is the difference, honestly?
That I felt?
Yeah, felt and see. What is the difference of SA and the States?
Joe, that's such a layered question, if you ask, because it depends on what like what industry we're talking about, what faction of life we're talking about, right?
Okay,
And
let
so,
me bring it to this particular detail.
sure.
You always hear and see that I've not been to the States. I've been to Canada. I've been to Europe, and like last time I told you, the first time I went to Europe, I was so shocked at the fact that it was so clean. Well, when I say Europe, not all of Europe. Don't get me wrong, guys.
Yeah.
Please, next thing I'm saying they are better. No, I'm saying my first time to Europe, I was in Vienna. In Vienna, I didn't see a single cigarette butt on the street. It was so clean. It was weird for me because I've seen a certain reality. My mother grew up in Soweto. The first time she went to my village, she said when she stepped out of the bus, the quality of the air said to her she's not going back to Soweto again. That's what I'm talking about. What's the difference?
For me, when I came, and I tell my wife this all the time, SA feels like the States in the 90s, both good and bad. You see, like it's got that ambitious, still like ground level, like almost ready to build, like you can feel the bubble about to break.
Yeah.
Right. But also you've got these systematic systems, right, that are still having a certain type of handcuff on the growth. Like the last ditching hope, you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can look in people's eyes and see that. And it just takes me back to that time in the 90s in the US where it was like the level of expression, the level of creativity changed, the level like SA is right there, in my opinion. Everybody has a different perspective, but
of course. So no, of course, because it's something similar that you are experiencing, right? Look, I'm a strong believer of mentorship, whether good or bad. What would be that single advice that you would say to yo guys, let's move this way? Or what is that you see that can either go south or north?
I'm going to be very, well, some may letting culture dictate the future is like key right now because like African culture is so strong. Letting tradition change the trajectory of where things are going, right? There was a time, like you said, in that 90s where Black Americans, is what I can speak for, we started to break away from the traditions of my grandma. The women didn't want to be like my grandma. The men didn't want to just work factory like my granddad did. Good workers, hard workers, supported their families, made sure, but they saw a chance to break away from that tradition. And I think that's the one thing that can like cripple it. Like the transformation in South Africa. If we could still hold to tradition, still respect and honor the culture, right? But not let it be a handicap on you taking a different route than you've seen, like you talked about exposure, right? you've only seen so much. So to make a determination on where your life should be in the end based on just what you've seen, you're stifling the process, the progress, I should say.
What do you think? It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense because, and it's sad that I'm actually hearing say that. Why I'm saying that because in Chicago, I know it's very, and funny I'm saying I know as if I've been there, but because through exposure, I know that in Chicago there's a lot of other communities. There's Hispanics there too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There's Chinese there, isn't it?
Small communities, but yes.
Small community. Good. Mm. What other communities are there except Black?
You have an Arab community.
Arab.
You have an Arab community in Chicago. I mean, Chicago is a lot like Joburg, which is what made SA feel so much like home. That was the same mixture of people you see in Joburg, you see in a place like Chicago, New York, California, Florida, those kind of things.
I'm going with this. Did the Hispanic lose their culture?
No.
Did the Indians lose their culture?
Never.
Did the Chinese lose their culture?
No.
And you see where I'm going? Somehow, though, it's always us who's compromising. Because what you're saying, you guys are losing it there. It's what happens, it's what's happening here now. We are so quick to grab on other people's way of life, of tradition, whatever that you can call it, and live it. Like you're saying, I'm not saying you must hold on, modify it and move with us. Because that's your core.
That's more of what I'm saying. You have all of those cultures you mentioned, though. I watch those same people. They still, like I said, hold to tradition, right? But you modify that to fit today. What your grandparents did then, we're doing it today. We still cook the same food. We still meet the same way. We still nobody's asking us to lose our culture. That's impossible.
Yeah, but our grandmothers didn't go out of the house half naked, though.
I understand. But I think it's like obvious. Like we aren't talking about in those aspects. When I talk about being able to modify what we see as culture, I'm talking about things like chew the meat and spit out the fat. Is like a term we use, right?
It makes sense.
You take the things that work for life today, right? You're not disrespecting your ancestors or your culture or your traditions, right? Because we wouldn't do that, or any culture, like you mentioned, right? But they are using today's advancements, today's exposure to push even their parents further, right? I'm exposing my parents to things that they didn't even think was possible. So it wasn't really tradition. We weren't allowed to do it. Black people in America my parents couldn't live in certain places I could live in. So because I don't want to build a house in the old neighborhood doesn't mean I'm abandoning my culture. That means I'm moving all of us forward, right? My grandkids now, that's their culture, that's their history, that's their landmark. You know, you still remember, you still go, you still visit, but I think the point of this generation should be to push things forward. We have to transition. We have to evolve. Evolving and holding to tradition are two separate things.
But also remember, evolution is from a base. You evolve from something. You can't evolve from the air.
Sure.
So for me, it doesn't make sense that we always try to evolve from things that are not us.
I say, stay yourself. Black Americans are going to stay themselves. You recognize us everywhere we go. We are all, right? We aren't, like you just said, evolving though. You can remain as an individual. I'm going to remain Chris no matter what. But like I just said, from my older children to now, I have to evolve as a father. I can't be the same father I was to my oldest.
Nah, you
Because
can't.
I'm smarter. He asked me questions. I'm like, son, I was dumb. I didn't know what I was doing. This is how I talk to him. I was so stupid.
My son did that to me once. He's 20 this year. He said something to me. He's like, yo, I always give you this example. It's like there's a girl that he wanted to go out on a date with.
Uh-huh.
He found out, he said, yo, can I have money for that? I'm like, no, of course, when you're done, when you're ready, let me know. I'll give you money for that. And then it didn't happen. I'm like, why didn't it happen? It's like, no, she's still in talking phase, or not talking phase. She's still talking with her ex-boyfriend. And I don't like that. Because I don't like that. If I tell her I don't like it, she'll say I'm controlling.
I'm insecure.
I'm insecure and all those things. We're going to fight. So what I chose to do, I chose not to step on. I said to him, bro, you are smarter than me.
Yeah.
At your age, I would have tried to fight to get with her.
It was a challenge. That meant challenge.
You know what I mean? So where did kids go to school? Where did kids go to school?
Did I go to school?
Where did you go to school? Yes.
Yeah, so most of high school, all in Chicago. And then I went to Northern Illinois University for college. And then after then, just kind of been in the working field and moving.
Tell me, what's the difference between college and university? I always say in the States, there's a college, there's a university. What is that?
They're the same. There is no difference. What I have seen, though, is kids can start university here at 16, 17. In the States, that's not colleges after matric. So
what is matric?
Matric is high school graduation for us. Once you finish grade 12,
okay,
then you can attend college.
And here in SA, from the zero phase kindergarten, right? There to matric, that's a 12-year, 13 years, 14, depending on when did the kid go to school, right?
Same.
From grade 1 to grade 12, that's 12 years.
That's graduation for us.
So it's the same thing in the States. It's 12 years.
It's 12 years.
Then you can go to
college. Or university. Some people call it university. Some people call it college. I think it's just a naming term that we use different.
But then, what if you are 16 and you are in matric in the States? How is that like?
There is no matric in the States, right? Like you have a certain number of classes that are worth a certain number of points. No matter how you get to those points, once you reach those points, then you can graduate with a diploma. They've laid out and divided these points out over these 12 years, or at least that last 4 high school years, right? 9 to 12. You know, some finish in 3 if they're taking extra classes or advanced classes or worth more points, that kind of deal.
So, what is a GDP, Chris? Help me. What is a GDP? What's with that?
A GED?
Yeah,
That's for those individuals who couldn't finish high school in a normal setting. So I dropped out of school when I was 16. I had to work, support mom and dad, and now I'm 25 and I want to get my matric. I want to get my high school diploma. You can take a GED class, which is a condensed version to prepare you for a test that you can test for your GED. So now I didn't go to high school. I didn't finish high school, but I was able to take night classes and get my GED, general education diploma.
Now, I've seen something where in high school, Coach Carter, let me go with Coach Carter.
Okay.
He says those kids, if your G something is not a certain number, you're not playing.
Your GPA, your grade point average.
So it's 2 things.
It's you right. Each letter grade is worth a certain number of points.
Okay.
And those points average out to your grade point average. So you got 5 classes. A is worth 5, B is worth 4, whatever. Once they add those numbers from your report card, that's your GPA, or average those numbers.
So whenever I see 5 point something, damn, that person is
You
good.
got the highest is a 4.0. If you got a 4.0, you're probably in advanced classes. You get straight A's. Yeah. I'm not gonna say I was a 4.0 student. Let's not take
Okay,
this.
okay, Chris. Okay, Chris.
I wasn't a 4.0.
You're in 4 point?
No. But I got a diploma and I got into college, so I did enough.
Wait. So math, I got an A. Same as physics, I think I got a B or something. English, I got English and Afrikaans. I got a C and a C. Agriculture, I think, is an A and a B. Where would I be?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they do the math now, but like it would be on like a grading scale. So your A would be worth 5 points. Your B would be worth, let's just say all of your grades added up to 10 points, right? You take that 10 divided by 5, and so you got a 2.5 grade point average. So it's pretty low. You need at least a 3.0 to get into college. So you probably need.
Mine was a university entrance. I passed my matric.
Yeah, if you don't have a high enough grade point average, you can't get into college.
Yeah,
or at least university.
Yes, because in SA it's also that issue where it's either university entrance or you just pass. It was one of those two.
Me and the wife were just talking about this today, about how, like, though this grading system is how it is and the states have this problem, one thing that I do appreciate about the states is there is not a lack of schools. Like, there is enough. You won't hear we're full. What do you mean we're full? We just went around for my daughter trying to find a new high school, blah blah blah. To hear that schools are full is new to me. I couldn't even imagine an administrator saying my school is full. What do you mean? Make room.
You see, it goes back to one thing, Chris, and this is why I hate so much the group of white people here in SA who are trying to hold us back so much by saying all the stuff that they say. And I use the word hate intentionally because, dog, do you know that the education system here?
I'm learning so much about it, and I'm really frustrated.
They would pay for one white kid 1.2 or something like that thousand, right? Per child. On average, that's 1 point something. For a black child, it was 100 and something per child. So now, based on that only, you can see even with our decision making in general, this is where we're going to go for this particular episode. You can see with the quality of our debate, quality of our arguments is based on the fact that we from a poor lack of education. So when anyone comes now and try to argue that why we've got less schools because of the government, now they piss me off. What do you mean you had a government that was running for 400 years that did not factor the whole thing, only factored 10% or less at the time, and when I come and blame a guy that has been doing for 30 years? I digress.
I don't know the full history of it, and but this process is teaching me a lot, and I hate to say it, but I can only be me, and maybe this is just my observation, but I feel like If you don't have access to income, you don't have access to knowledge. And that is something that is not the same from in the States, because even a poor kid, I haven't seen textbooks, an actual textbook in 15 years in a school. My kids don't get textbooks. They all give them laptops and they take laptops home in their schoolwork. But the exposure, like you were talking about at the very beginning, is crucial because
That
these kids,
laptop,
the laptop, I'm gonna sign them out in a lap. I've seen a school book. There are no school books. If you've got a textbook, then even the poorest schools have access to internet and computers and so then this, go
here
ahead.
they're still struggling with a toilet. Forget computer, dog.
This is the problem that I'm finally becoming aware to, because I'm trying to
Forget,
put a school here.
forget laptop. There is no electricity.
Mm,
They're
mm,
under a tree.
mm. I
And
know.
and all this for me, you know, dog, one thing that frustrates me a lot is that, and of course, someone might argue that our government tried to, I think they should have just went all Scotch egg. I know I'm idealist, and some might say, but no, you don't do that in diplomacy, but nah, dog.
It's bad.
Because
Go ahead,
no,
go ahead.
go.
The contrast of equality is so blatant in the education system here that I'm telling you, I just went through this today, and I still got a headache from the circles that I ran around from school district to school district to school. Nobody know. But then I drive to where I'm staying, and the kids right across the street, oh, big soccer field. Yo, they've got the most beautiful uniform. They're building a new facility for the kindergartners, for the grade zeros, 2 stories, big giant. But I just came from a school in Mslali that, like you said, we don't have water. These kids are trying to, but they got a 98% pass rate at this poor school, which means it isn't the kids. The kids want to learn. They want to get, that administrator told me these kids do not miss school. That is unheard of in the States for a 98% attendance rate for schools. That's not going to happen.
What do you mean it's not going to happen?
Kids are not making it to school in the States for various reasons, right? Because there's a lot more influence, because there's a lot more access and freedom and handicapping to American students, right? They don't have that necessity all the time. They don't have that drive for, I gotta make it, I gotta survive. Like these kids who will come to school, but they're coming to school and they got no reason. Chalkboard? A
Imagine
chalkboard.
chalkboard, hungry dog. Imagine going to class hungry.
Every day. I was talking to the wife about the free school lunch program that I've been a part of my whole life. You
Yeah.
get breakfast in the morning, you get a free lunch in the afternoon, and if you're in aftercare, you got snacks or whatever, whatever. It's part of the education, the Department of Education, right? But there's no, and I'll say it, people will be mad. There's no tender system either, though, right? It's mandated by the government, it's ran by the government. That's why this US shutdown is such a big deal, because those programs that feed those kids stop. Those free lunches stop.
Please explain that a bit. Please explain that a bit. What is a government shutdown? It doesn't. I don't understand it.
I don't want to say that I know all of it, but basically, the federal government,
What does it affect?
any federally funded programming is affected. In any federally funded program, employee, office, administration, if it's funded by the federal government, a government shutdown halts the payments and funding to those programs. So food service programs, veteran disability programs, veterans workers, federal employees, TSA, the people who screen your luggage and make sure that there's no contraband and bombs, those are federal employees. Customs agents, border control, these are federal funded programs. When those programs, go ahead.
So basically, Home Affairs here shuts down.
That's Home Affairs is over. And
there's no food at school.
No. The difference is, here there's been a tender that's been issued. Somebody already got paid to deliver food if they actually, right? But that's not the way at home. This is issued monthly. This is issued.
Yeah.
So November 1st comes, there's no food. There's no funding for special disabled kids. There's no bus routes for these kids to get to school. Like postal workers, your post office worker is a federal employee.
Damn.
Your clinic, what you call clinic here, the hospital, government, those are federal employees. That doctor can't see any patients. So how many people are going without health care right now? How many people are going?
It's been a month, isn't it?
57 days. I think they signed something now that should be ending it soon, but it's still going to be a mess.
And basically, you can't even negotiate with the banks that I can pay you later, can they?
No. The rent is still coming. People are getting evicted right now. I guarantee there's people getting doors knocked right now because they can't pay the rent. And that's the difference here in SA. At least maybe I'd have a shack to go to. I'll find somewhere to sleep. Where are you going to go? If you build a shack, they're going to tear it down. A shack. You better find a car to sleep in.
How true is that though, Chris? I've heard a lot of people sleeping in their cars because they have no place to stay. Like, how does that work?
There are endless amounts of places to stay. The problem is the affordability of those places is astronomical, right? If the average American's U.S. rent is about 40 to 50K rand.
Average. Wait, come back. Average.
If you own a home, God bless you. For a 3-bedroom, before I came here, I paid about $2,800 US. So what's that? Yeah, I'll tell you. A month.
2,800. That's a lot of money, dog.
That's 47K. Then I've got car insurance, which is mandatory, right? If you get caught without car insurance, it's a 20K fine. I'm converting this into rands, right? But your car insurance is 10K a month. Groceries are going to cost you 15K a month. Your electric bill is roughly 5K a month, right? You got a gas bill, you got a water bill. So, when you see an American here, when you see somebody, you can, this one is paying with dollars. No. You know how hard I had to save and make things work? And yeah, sure, they're making more money, but it still comes out to the same if you're converting it to rands and the capitalism. So what do we do? And so that's why I always tell my South African family, listen, if anybody understands the plight of South Africans, Black Americans do, you're fighting the wrong person. Who else can understand you the way that we do? It's impossible. I know I took you on the road, but I'm not lying to you.
We digress. For me, I don't want the context. Or if you want to ask a question, yes, you can ask, I guess.
Sure.
But my thing is, I want to spend the first 30 minutes just understand Chris's world, where he's from.
I think we went a little further, but it's okay.
So I don't know if the fact that you heard about Lobola for the first time, how was that?
About the what for the first time?
Lobola, when you had to go and do Lobola.
You know, I'm so blessed because my in-laws are probably the sweetest, kindest people I've literally ever met. They have a very, very small family, so that blessed me too because no lot of uncles, no aunties,
No many, no many blankets and gifts.
no. So we only had Gogo and Kulu, baby sister, and two Go-Go's. No problem. You can sweet talk to Go-Go. No. I brought watermelon and fruit.
And you told me an interesting story about your family back in the States when you first introduced Lobola. How was their
Yeah,
reaction?
yeah. We have no understanding of Ebola other than what we've heard from a West African culture. That's the huge thing that a lot of people should know. Like the influence that we get in the States is a lot of West African. We don't know a lot about South African. Culture is very different. So I think part of my family was like, yo, beautiful, you figure it out. And I think the other part was like, yo, are you sure you're not being extorted? Is that
When I wonder.
how do you feel? Are you okay? What'd you drink while you were there? You all right? But no, my family's super supportive, man. They love my wife.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, they think
That's,
she's a princess. So,
so,
man, I've really been blessed in that regard.
so in a nutshell, it it became an education point for both of you and your wife, of course.
For sure, for sure. I mean, to be honest, I had that when she first told me about Ebola. I was like, if you can't put a number on it, what do you mean we're going to find out then? No, I need to know now. Are we talking 10K, 3K, 2K? What do you mean you don't know? Listen, I have a number in my head, and if
Right.
that number don't work for y'all, then you got to choose. That didn't go over well, but
Of course, you never go well, dog. Never. Like what? What? But also, where I want to go with this is the fact that you mentioned that you learned that what you both believed in is things that you have to stand on based on what you've been exposed to your whole lives.
sure. And to my point though that I was making on that, it forced us both to adjust though. If it forced her to also look at, hey, Chris was raised completely different than me. Like
Hmm.
going through putting together a wedding, we had to incorporate both of us because my ancestors are coming with me too. I'm, uh, I know who they are, and they come in and they want to feel welcome, and we want to. When I understood that Lobola was really about the two families, it was really bigger than me and her. That's when it started to. Um, this is
You're a
about
big
my.
man, and I think you're a big man. And why I'm saying that, Chris, no cap, bro. The fact that I'm South African and I have an issue with some Lobola practices, I'm okay with it. There's some other issues that I have with it. You
Mm.
grew up in a space where it's not in the equation.
No. Her dad was supposed to pay me according to American culture.
Yeah, but you were able to sit down and internalize it and
Mm,
get up yourself
mm,
to see it from her point of view and come to a term to say, look, man, this is not about me. It's
mm,
about something else. Because
mm.
I remember you mentioned, it was a shocking, not a shock, but a culture shock for me that in the States, when the two are married, it's the two of you. That's it.
I'm not responsible for your mother. I'm not responsible for your. Listen, they should have had it together before we got together. Now, I'm willing to bring some groceries every now and again, but how? Uh, but here's the thing. My parents would say that if I if a woman If my sister married a South African man and he brought my dad money, my dad wouldn't touch that money. I don't care how broke he was. I don't care if they living in a shack. My parents not gonna take nothing from this newly married couple. I don't want it. I don't want it. Why would you do that? And y'all need to she's pregnant, y'all need to have there's no expectation to build family before you're fully stable. Right? Sometimes in African culture, as soon as you get a little bit, you building houses back home, and you say, not that you shouldn't, but it's almost like an obligation now.
There's a context on that, which we've now, which I'd like us to come to this question at the bottom, but there's a context to that. Né? The context is this, and that's what I'm saying. Some of these things we end up using them wrong. Here's the context. Here's the context. Lobola was meant to bring families together. You find other families using it as she went to school. We took her to school. She's educated. So it was your duty. Why do you not charge me on that? Based on that.
Good job,
no, wait, but yeah. So now we are using it wrong in such instances, and there are other things as well.
Sure.
The building of houses also, that one is very contentious from this point of view. From our system, that's why I'll say again, I'm going to use the word I hate so much the white people who try to block things. How many black parents let me go far, man. In my family, I've got education. My parents got education. My grandfather and grandmother, from my dad's side, they both got education. I think even my great-grand had some education. Dog, this is an anomaly to the highest.
That's not normal. That's not normal.
In SA, you are lucky from some of my age to have my parents to be educated. It's crazy. Now, here's what I'm doing with this.
Sure.
Now, imagine those parents who are not working, who are not educated. Educate their kids who are now doctors, actual scientists, and. Others are minimal jobs, not crazy salary, but good salaries, right?
Yeah, sure.
That parent, after 50, 60, they can't work anymore, can they?
True.
Because they're not in the pension fund space, they're not getting any money from their previous employee. They're gonna go hungry, Chris.
No, it's different circumstances for sure.
Where that child whom they took to school will go build a house for them, you will.
You gotta. What are you gonna do? You gotta let go. You got.
Where I have an issue with it is where you find parents who are educated also expect their children to help them out. Like, what the hell? What are you doing?
That's the point. Those are the ones.
Look, what are you doing, guys? Help them to start their family. You know, I remember saying to my mother the other day, she would say to me, no, I must visit the house quite often. I'm like, no, let me ask you a question, Ma. How old were you? How old am I now? She's like, you're 45. I'm like, you, at 45, how busy were you? She's like, I was quite busy. How busy do you think I am now?
True.
How hectic are you? You are in pension now. How hectic are you? So where's logic now? Shouldn't you be the one visiting us? Come to my house for 2 weeks. Go to my sister's house for 2 weeks. Go to the other sister's house for 2 weeks. Go back home for a month and repeat.
That's my plan. When I get old enough, I'm gonna house hop.
I'm gonna house hop like crazy.
I'll sleep in the garage. Nothing special for me. I'll be in the garage. Don't worry. But I'm here. You got food?
I'm gonna house hop. I've got 3 kids. Well, my sister's got 3 kids as well. I've got 6. I'm gonna house hop. Anyway, there's a question here, bro. Did you go to the questions about the schools and the canteen in the States?
What are available in school canteens? That we call it tuck shops. What kinds of snack? There's no school canteen, so like yeah, there's no like shops in the schools. The school lunches that I talk about could be anything though. Like I mean, you might get pizza, burgers. It's always a 3-course meal. It's always a meat, a vegetable, a starch, and a drink. You'll always get with a school lunch. Once a day, no matter what, you're going to get a meat, a starch, a vegetable, and some type of drink, and maybe a sweet. But you'll get for sure.
I once saw a documentary that drove me crazy. Where is Pizza Hut from? The Swan Company.
Swan?
Yeah, they've got a very big contract with government where they've got a lot of pizza shops in the schools are from this particular company.
Okay.
You know that these things, you know, like the commission here, where they go to parliament account and blah, 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 the ad hoc committee.
Okay.
They go. What movie was that? Was it Super Size Me? Anyway, I don't forget, it was a documentary about food and.
I think I've seen that. I know what you're talking.
Yes, in the States, where one of the governor of that state where the pizza company is from said that no, guys, actually, a pizza is a vegetable. It consists of flour. What is flour made of? It consists of onion, vegetables, and
You gonna get a kid's broccoli pizza? No, it ain't gonna happen. but portions are big. They do give big portions.
Is it?
Food comes plentiful.
So basically, kids won't. There's no way that the kid can have an argument or rather an excuse that I'm hungry, I can't study.
I won't say that. I won't say that because a lot of kids don't get the breakfast in the morning. A lot of the kids don't get but there is a school lunch. So you can, to say that you couldn't eat anything if you're going to a public school, you could have ate. You didn't like what they had. You didn't. You could have ate. You could have ate. My mom wasn't buying bag lunches for us. You're gonna eat that school lunch that they give you for free, and you're gonna like it, or you're gonna starve.
What do you mean there's no food? There's food there.
I'm cooking one time today, and you better.
Chris, we've went all and back here. I want to talk about you can never dream what you can see. You said something that was very touching to me, and in one of our conversations about the talk that you would have with your dad.
Yo.
The kind of advice that he would give you.
100%. To this day.
I mean, hey, to this day, you know. And how you opened up your mind about concepts, about ideas, about where the world is. Like you mentioned, the 90 and SA now similar. I'm sure someone introduced that to you.
Mm-hmm.
What's your relationship with your dad? Let's start there. And what kind of man was he that you would talk to?
Yo, it's crazy because until I went through life's real struggles, sometime when we're 19, 20, you smelling yourself, you got you say your son 22, you kind of feel, I really didn't understand my dad, and until you have those kids, until you go through those struggles, you don't really know what's on his plate to deal with, right? Mm. So our relationship was strained. He was always my dad. He was always present. We didn't have any, but we went for a long period when I got into my adulthood without really talking like that. But even in that, I always remembered how he made us understand that anywhere your feet touch, you belong. And that's something that, like, here in SA, I really push to like even my wife, and even to like I think it still hasn't like settled in that you can be and go anywhere. There's no place you don't belong. he used to tell us things like, your money is just as green as anybody else's in here. Because we weren't like poor. So he would save and we would go on these vacations. We would go to these places where there were only white people. We would go to these places that people who looked like me weren't going, right? And we would get the looks. And I remember us being put out of places because there's no seats for you guys. What do you mean there's no seats for you guys? It's 10 open seats. I remember, like, as I'm older, I remember those things, right? But what's always stuck with me is that everything is an option. Everything is an option. There's nothing off the table. And that's why you talk about exposure, right? Exposure isn't always the trips he was taking us on or the places we were going. The exposure was my own dad. Because, you look at your dad a certain way, looking down at you and telling you, you belong here. You never let somebody tell you you don't belong here. You never let them look down on you and make you. And I deal with that here, right? Because as soon as I open my mouth to talk, I'm immediately judged. Um, either either I'm the good guy or I'm the enemy, and I'm fine with it, But it helped me to remain confident in myself, And I think that's why it's so big what you're doing and what we're talking about today, because like every day I just wish that I could inspire more of like the South African kids, you see, because to a certain degree, we're already set in our ways. We're already, but these
Yeah.
kids in these kids in the States, they feel like even if I screw up, I still got a chance to be a doctor. I still can go and be an engineer, or I'll go to trade school and I'll make X amount doing this. Like they never turn off the ability of options.
That's what I mean, and that's what I wanted to touch a bit. And again, through exposure, through reading, through seeing, through whatever, is that what I've seen with the kids in the States, their dream level is a different, and their expression is a different point of view. What makes that? What's up with that? Because here, again, sorry, Chris, here, the other day, it said, I saw, so we have a group where I stay, right? And these guys shared a link of a Facebook page, which I'm going to read now, where it's an Uber page. So these guys, they discussing full-blown conversation, man, where they're discussing about people who live where I live. We sell drugs. We are criminals. We steal from government. And I'm like, but guys, what do you mean? So it's exposure for me, because they knew that it's tangible. That's what born this episode. That those kids in the state, I see that their exposure and exposure, dream. Is it because of the parenting skill, or what? What exposure? What is
And it's sad, and it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. It's the ability to risk failing. In South Africa, if you're a young black man, you really can't risk failing, because failing could mean death, jail. You never get on your feet. There are only so many opportunities that are going to come your way, to no fault of his own. He didn't do anything, but the privilege that these kids have in the States is they can bug it all up, they can mess it all up, and there are resources, there are programs, there's infrastructure to help you if you choose, because it's still on the person. But if you choose, there's infrastructure in place to help you navigate your way out of this hole. True indeed, there's still racism, there's still stuff happening, there's still inequalities that happen, but the level of desperation is different. The level of it's on a different level, right? And it's because I've only seen men who look like me be garden boys. I've only seen men who look like me be. I've never seen men like me as business professionals. They don't even know. I was talking at Groupville School the other day. They don't even know that like positions like I work in. I work remote. I can live anywhere. They don't even know these type of positions exist, right? But these are high paying salaries that you can, if you can do TikTok, you could be learning how to do cybersecurity. But who's coming to the school and saying, hey, look, cybersecurity is a thing. Cyber what? I don't know computers. You don't need to know computers. You need to know how to read. Can you read? Can you remember? But these are the conversations that other people are having with their kids, right? Because they have that ability to risk it. I can't risk him going out and being gone for 3 years studying IT technology because I need him here to work because we're hungry. We have to eat. Right? It's nobody's fault. It's not mom's fault because she did all she could. It's not his fault because he went and got straight A's at school. They got a 98% attendance rate. But due to the circumstances, due to the infrastructure that surrounds this American kid versus this South African kid, they can risk it in different ways. My son came to me and said, Dad, he's in his third, he just finished up his third year of university. He got maybe 2 semesters to graduate, psychology degree. I don't want to go to school anymore, Dad. I'm coming home. What? Not for me. I just want to give my life a chance. I just want to be able to. I've done everything you told me, Dad. I got good grades in high school. I went away to college. I kept these type of friends. I did everything you told me to do, and it's not making me happy. And I need to figure out, is this what's for me? Is this what I? And I said, you know what?
Is that why I found out there's a lot of teenagers in the States who become millionaires? Is it because of that kind of thinking?
Because dad or mom says, you know what? Fine. Your room is still there. You can stay in it as long as you want, as long as you're doing something. My dad never said I had to move out. I could move in with my dad today. Chris, your room is there. It'll always be there for you. If you fall, that means I can go risk it. I can pack my bags, I can sell all of my stuff, and I can move to South Africa and give it a try. Because if it all else fails, the lowest is gonna go. I'll be in my mom's basement. I won't be hungry, I won't be cold, but I'll be home with mom. They don't have that.
Again and again, you know where it goes back to? What we said, that a lot of those parents, because of the system that we had, they had no education, they had no formal work where there was a deliberate system that made our parents not to get certain jobs. You know, I don't. My dad had a side business that he was not allowed to open because he was a teacher. Things like that. And my point is, can you imagine the type of opportunities that it trickles down to affect the teacher?
There are endless opportunities, but at the same time, it starts with kids like your daughter's age. It sounds bad. You're not saying forget the kids that are older. You're not saying right, but it isn't an overnight fix. You trying to change a mentality, not just a condition. If you don't think you're better than them, if you don't think that you and the little white girl are on the same level, if you don't think you and the Arab kid can get the same grades, if you don't think that, we got to change the mentality first.
Like, you know, I want to give you an example about parents and stuff like that. My dad once did something with, and my mom. You mentioned earlier that you and your family used to go to holidays or places that you were the only black people.
Often.
Yeah. So we were the type of family as well. We went to places where half the time we were the only black family. Right? One time we went to this other place where there were black families, but not many.
Mm.
It was like 96, I think, 95. Just to get open. Right. Like we were doing those things even way when I was a baby, when I was a child. Anyway, This was for me, when I think about it now, it was a hero moment. It's one of the things that broke my shackle. White boys tackled my dad. You know the rugby people?
Yeah.
My dad turned, kicked that ball amidst a lot of white people. Kicked him. Boy bled. My mom stood up, slapped them. It became a brawl.
Tag team.
It became a brawl. They were fighting. Immediately, it was stopped. And I remember my parents and I, well, with my sisters, I think, I don't know, I'm sure the young one was there as well. The youngest one was there as well. When we went to report it, that lodge or the event or someone in charge there made sure that those white kids got away. See, but here's my hero moment. Okay, enough. Anyway,
give her a good reason.
Anyway, that for me, in hindsight, when I think about it, it was a hero moment because I saw my parents standing up. That's why now no one can push me around.
Nope.
That's why the kids, because they know, that there's a bedroom back home. You can do anything. So based on that, what is the importance of knowing that you got a base?
Because kind of like I said earlier, it gives you that ability to take a chance on you. Knowing, even if my parents don't have money to give me, if I call them for a bag of money, Chris, I don't know, we can pray, right? But it's the support. Like I was talking about my son, he probably would have thought he made the worst decision in his life if I had scolded him. What do you mean you leaving school? You know what I said? Okay. Sounds like you thought this out for yourself. Sounds like you really need this to be you, right? And I always tell, even my wife now, I tell her, look, before I'm a husband, before I'm a dad, before I'm a father, before I'm a man of God, before I'm Black, I'm a human. I'm a human. And I need to be able to be a human. So what in my mind makes me think that one doesn't need to be a human too? He's right. He did everything I told him. He didn't get in trouble. He didn't get in fights. He didn't go out and make babies. He went to college. He tried it. He did everything. So who am I to not allow him to be him? And I think our kids here don't even know. I was so indoctrinated by my parents in being successful and making sure that you don't get arrested and watch out for the police and stay out of crime and stay out of drugs, right? That when I went through my worst time, a woman asked me, Chris, what do you like? Shit, I don't know. Like being with the kids. Or I like when you happy. Or I like when, right? But back to your point about like our parents, right? How can they teach us how to be happy if they never got a chance to be happy?
How do you dream of what you've never seen?
And that's my other point. All we know is tradition, though. But I have to modify this because I'm a human. I'm not a robot that can do this cosplay. I can be me without disrespecting you, without disrespecting Gogo, without this. I've got to be able to modify this so that my grandkids can know, oh, he could do anything. But if I'm still stuck at, no, you say yes, madam. No, you say yes, yes. You stay quiet when they come around. Oh, you don't make him mad because he may fire you. Fire me today. Fire me. If I can't speak, fire me. What am I doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Those are the different mentalities. A U.S. kid will walk out of a job. I'm not. How'd you talk to me? Did you call me boy? Okay, let me pack my things. Let me get.
And we're on that. You see, here in SA, people, and not all, will take abuse because if I leave, where will I work? And which is a fact
It's
because
valid.
it's valid. If they leave, if they leave, there is mom, dad who are not able.
We were depending on you to survive that.
Because we also did our part. Okay, my love, please don't go. Bye bye. Because we did our part for you to be here. You gotta do your part for us, dog. Because month end we're not getting anything.
Did you do your part or did you do your job?
So
There's
the
two different things.
complexity of it, we need to intentionally expose our people. I think, help me from, besides exposing, create infrastructure that will let them dream and be able to break this shackle of what has happened in the past.
Yo,
In the States, how do you guys do that? How do you think your parents, because like I remember you said, Guri, your parents were alive during Jim Crow.
for sure. My dad was one of the first people integrating an all-white school for high school.
Yeah.
And I, I don't, I can't really say how they survived it. If I'm perfectly honest, because of the temperament that I was raised with, because of like we talked about the things my dad and my mom taught me about who I am, I couldn't even imagine surviving that time. Let me tell you, and I'll just I couldn't even imagine surviving that time because I'd be too reckless. I wouldn't know how to stay quiet. I wouldn't know how to say yes, sir, no, sir, because
I, I always say this, Chris. If I was alive during apartheid, I would be dead.
I just I just told a Afrikaans that guy this yesterday. My wife was like, Chris, what did you just say to him? He said we were having a conversation, and he's like, "Yeah." He was being funny. We were laughing. He was like, "Yeah, too bad this isn't apartheid times, cause it'd be different." I said, "I'd never make it. I'd kill you all." He was like, "Oh, I like this one. Oh, I wasn't joking."
But you see my point. You see my point.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
become uncomfortable, is I like this one, to hide and cover the fact that they know that they have been BS'd, and they're gonna use I like this one. Like this one for what? Because it doesn't conform. So one question I'm because I've got a couple of questions here.
Okay.
How do you think like the whole, and this of course I'm not saying it's all on you. I'm using this to juxtapose the life there and the life here.
Okay. Okay.
How do you not think things like colonialism and apartheid still shape the black children's mind here from an outside observer?
Oh, that's such a loaded question. I don't know if I'm gonna get canceled for my answer to this or what.
Let's be safe with it.
How do I see? Let me just make sure. How do I see, as an outsider coming
Yes,
into South Africa, how do I see the apartheid mindset still having an effect today?
yeah, either black and white, both sides. Because I see it, but
Okay,
I'm biased because I'm part of it.
I'm just gonna say how I feel, and from a white perspective, this is the most privilege whites will experience in any country in the world. that I've been to personally.
I agree with that.
If I'm white in South Africa, this is paradise. From on all levels, economic, social, education, finance. It doesn't on every single, even your day-to-day interactions are superior if you're white in South Africa. I still see, and I think it's so funny that you brought up Jim Crow because it feels like Jim Crow in some instances, in some scenarios when I'm here, and I always talk about it to the white, like how I almost get enraged, I almost get, but then I have to pull it back to understand that like people are doing all they can, like you can only take, there's only so many opportunities you have. I'm going to look at houses and I'm going through, just frankly, I'm going through, pretty big neighborhoods. These houses are nice, and I'm trying to stay in these areas. And something you won't see, I haven't seen a black nanny in the States. You won't find it. You won't find a black helper in the States because our grandmothers during that Jim Crow era, our great grandmothers doing that, that's all they could do. That's all. It literally is like stepping into a time capsule in some instances to watch somebody that looks like my grandmother, who I love, walking some guy's dog. Why is my grandmother walking this guy's dog through a? Why is my grand? These are my, like, I don't see South African. I don't see South African or American. I see black women. I see black men. I see aunties and cousins and sisters. And so it's literally like stepping into a time capsule. It reminds me of stories my grandmother told me. The mentality that she had to have around her bosses is what I see here still.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I say things like, man, it feels like the 90s with the 60s mentality. But then at the same time, you go to a place like, I'm in KZN, so much different world than Joburg. Especially I'm up north towards like Bolito area, so like it's different. It's different. It's hard to watch sometimes. The hardest part is when you try and talk somebody out of it. You're the enemy. If I tell you you deserve it, if I tip you more than they would even tip you, you treat me like you do less work. If I hire you to be my house help, they normally pay you 150. I say, I love you. You look like my auntie. You shouldn't work for 150. I pay you 250. You like, I'm gonna drink coffee. I'm telling you, I'm not lying. So that's why I said it's about the babies and starting afresh with a new mentality.
And exposure to different things.
Your daughters will never think like, they won't even think like, they won't even think it's not possible because of
I see it with my son already. I see it with my son. He doesn't. So I want to go to your point of how to hopefully solution this. Because we know that first and foremost, you can't dream what you've never seen. You have a cap. In my life, I always feel like that. When I feel like I'm kept up, I always go seek information. I'll go study something. I'll go to YouTube, learn something new, learn a new skill, try to figure things out. I'm in the process of doing something new as well now in the next couple of years because I feel like knowledge-wise, I'm tapped out. I need more. What then do you think where we are? Because remember, you guys seen this in the States. You've been through this phase. What do you think based on, I'm not trying to put it on you now. I'm just saying that based on the context, what do you think could be the solution? Because a lot of our kids are not confident to believe that they can teach anything.
I would, I mean, it's such a big project, right? But it has to start with access to information, right? Giving, even if you choose not to use it, even if you choose to still do crime, even if you can't get out of the township, you know what's available, right? So creating programs, creating avenues, creating functions, creating seminars or lectures or speakers, right, that can expose you to, they always say you just have to plant a seed. If we can, when I went and spoke at Groupville School here in Quadazoo, right, there was 250 matric kids, year 12, that were there listening. And I could look out in the crowd as I'm speaking, and I can see who was like, and who was like, this guy. But you could see the ones who were like, wait a minute. If he got all the way here and he's telling me that there's opportunities for me, I don't have to be, oh, maybe he's right. You said I can do it on my phone. Oh, I didn't know I could do it on my phone. Just that little seed is enough. You're not going to affect everybody, right?
Of course, never.
But the ones we can reach is crucial. And then the other part is parents letting go. Let them try. Let them try. It won't help you at all. He's not going to be able to help you feed. Release him from the guilt. Release her from the guilt. And let her go try. Let her leave KZN and go to Joburg and just try. Give her the freedom to just try.
And if they fail, tell them, come back here.
I love you. I love you. Even when you fail, I love you. I support you.
I've picked up something. I don't know if maybe you have picked up on putting too much on you. Do you think we sometimes mistaken confidence for arrogance in South Africa?
Do we think confidence is arrogance?
Mistaking it for
1000%, especially from me here. If when I walk into places, I don't try to imitate speaking Zulu. I don't try. Nope. The menu is in English. The signs are in English. You can't speak. When Miss White Lady just walked in, you spoke good English. You can speak English, and there is an essence about how I move here that people find cocky, but I'm just confident. I know, yes, 100%. But those are the people who are game changers.
yeah.
Those are the people. If you can get past, and that's a personal issue. That's your offense. I'm not responsible for that.
Yes.
And that's something that you're teaching the kids too. No, you just because you're confident and they're offended, that's not your problem. That's not your problem. He has to work on himself, and you show him how to be confident too. Tell him, don't hate, don't be mad. Join me.
A friend of mine once said to me, I saw my firstborn a couple of years ago. He had so much confidence. And I'm like, I didn't understand why. She gave a simple answer. She's like, dude, he sees you. So, having said that, how do you then balance humility and boldness? Especially when you're told that know your place. Because a lot of these kids, remember, context of our environment and a lot of things. It's know your place, do your thing so you can feed. There's a lot of factors, but then how do you balance that too? Because I chose to say, me, listen, I'm coming, I'm stepping. Because I'm not gonna get time. I'm 45 now. I've got literally probably less years going ahead than behind.
Same.
I can't be dilly-dally, but then for the young ones, how do you balance that thing?
By your actions, right? Because what we're talking about is people's perception of you versus what you actually do. You can think that I'm cocky, you can think that I'm arrogant, but I move in love. You can think that I'm confident, you can think that I'm arrogant, but I help when I'm needed. I'm soft spoken. I'm generous. I'm right. So you don't have to focus on balancing it, right? Confident is who you are, right? That arrogance is what you portray, right? So it's your cause versus your action. I'm a confident person, but I'm gonna move with humility because at the core of it, I don't think I'm better than you. Money doesn't mean that I have more than you. Two parents doesn't mean that I have more than you.
Yeah.
My situation could be your situation tomorrow. Your
Yes.
situation can be mine. I can be poor tomorrow, asking you to, can I please sleep in this shack with you?
Just like that.
Can I? So who am I? Who am I to? No, 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 no. Mm.
So
And that's what I try to push to the kids.
yeah, and then also exposure. For someone who's listening now, and we always talk about exposure. We've been saying exposure, 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 exposure. Uh, what is what is exposure to you? Is it education? Is it travel? Mindset? What could be exposure for them to
It's
start where they are?
that same word you just used, balance, right? You need a balance of all of it. You have to take what you can get when you can get it, and you can't expect to get it all at once, right? You're not going to get the full spectrum of exposure in 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? Some of it we learn through time. Your parents used to say, "Oh, you haven't done it yet. Just wait till you get older." Right? Some of it comes with time, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the biggest part of it is I don't know. I think we don't take advantage of the tools that we have at your disposal, right? Reading and reading comprehension are two different things. If we can teach our kids to comprehend not only things you read, things you see, events you be at, places you go, people, comprehend what's happening around you. Comprehend that when you see new construction, somebody's getting paid. Comprehend that when you see shacks going down and condos going up, that has something to do with property value. You don't have to know the whole ins and out, but they're not going to build there if it's not income there. So who does the plans? Who does the wiring? Who does the hardware? Who does like and it goes back to what we're talking about, which is the parents giving you space to think it out. My son needs time to think it out. You, I can't be put, you're supposed to be an engineer, engineer. Oh, wait, he needs time to look at what's happening around him. Like his world, my kid's world is completely different than the world I grew up in. I don't
Of course,
understand.
of course.
I can't operate in his world.
So before we go to a quick game, my sister, the one who comes after me, because she's listening to us now, at 16, she had an idea to do some business. She was approved. She had a boldness of applying at 16, 15. She applied with one of the telecom giants. They approved her.
Yep.
We just supposed to facilitate the rest, and they said no. And it's because of the fear at the time. It's not because of anything else. It's just when you sit in hindsight and look at it, you can see, and a lot of these things, the exposure is very big, and that's why I'm pushing that. They need to be able to see things so they can dream and be allowed to try and go and explore.
Sure.
But Chris, quick game.
Okay.
We got like 6 minutes left
Okay.
for this. What did you want to be when you were 10 years old?
I wanted to be a football player. I wanted to be an American football player. That was like the dream. I want to make it to the NFL. I wanted to be an NFL player so bad. Yo,
What happened? Did you play some
I
football?
started having kids too early, and you got to choose. I had to make hard choices.
I don't know if my son is watching. I love him, my boy. But if I had a choice, if I knew what I knew now, I would never have my son at the time I had my son. I would have like a little.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear you. So if your younger self met you now, what would surprise him most? If your younger self met you now, what would surprise him? To say, what is this me?
He would never, the young me would never know that I would be like this traveled, like the places I've been, the people I've met, the life that I'm living now. Me 5 years ago I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't even like, yeah, it's no way 5 years ago I thought this would be my life.
5 years ago.
Even 5 years ago. Never,
Damn.
never, never. I'm blessed, man. I would have never thought.
Things can change just like this. You just have to try it and just go and whatever.
I didn't have anybody handcuffing me from trying.
So I think one of the biggest takeaway here is that guys, we know that guys our age probably are old, we've got young kids, some of us, but let's let them try. Those that are still coming up and they have kids later, let them fly. Let them fly. So what's the one dream you gave up on? And do you think you could still chase it now? I know football is gone.
Yeah.
But what's the one dream you gave up on, but like not? Let's go at it again.
Having to do anything with TV, media, video, like I had hit such a high with it 4 years back or so, and I was like so discouraged after it. And yeah, even when I met my wife, I told her, no, she's seen the stuff I did before. She's like, Chris, this was great, but no, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to. I don't. It's. I don't want to try. And like this season, even before we started on this, I was saying like, yo, I feel like everything is coming together. Like it can actually happen. I don't know how. I don't know, but I've got that spark again. Like, let me try. Let me try.
Let's try. Let's try. Guys, try. Oh, and what I hate about that is that what I hate and I love about it is that we need more access to information, more data, more Wi-Fi centers for these kids to try.
Yo, and I mean, even we think about it. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I can't tell you how many businesses have failed.
Oh my goodness.
If I was judged by how many businesses failed, you'd call me a failure.
Brah. With that yardstick, I'm a serial failure.
Yo, so who am I to tell this kid he can't try?
My brother said to me, the day you stop dreaming, just die, dog. Just go. Just go. Don't blow up. Don't annoy us.
The beautiful thing about it is that what I want the kids to know is each stage of life is like a whole new chapter to try things. You can try these in your 20s. You can try a whole new set of things in your 30s. Just because you're 40 don't mean no, it's a whole new set that you can try.
I give it 5 years. I have a 5-year cycle. There must be something great in every 5 years.
Every 5.
Yeah.
Every 5. Yeah.
If you give one word to every young South African child to remember, what would that be?
You absolutely matter. You can get so lost in these townships. You can get so lost amongst the many heads. Your life, your singular, small life you feel, it actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
You are a person. Like the sadness that I see from so many of the kids that just, you can tell they just feel like I'm just another number. No, you are somebody, bro.
Yeah.
You are amazing. I don't even know if they've ever heard it. Yo, you are amazing. Imagine like the first time I heard my dad say, I'm sorry. Yo, I felt like Superman. Yo, you big guy told me. So imagine these kids, somebody just saying, yo, you are really kind of amazing.
Uh, so
That's
they
what I
can
would.
believe. So they can believe.
That makes you want to try. Well, if I'm amazing, I got to do something. If I'm awesome, if I'm worthy, if I'm not just a garden boy, if I'm not just, yo, I got to try.
Last one as we close. Finish this sentence.
Okay.
Belief begins when.
When you choose, belief is a choice. You literally get to choose if you believe or not. You choose whether you believe in God, you choose whether you believe in love, you choose whether you believe in success. You get to choose. That's what life is. It's choices. Choose, my boy. Choose, my daughter. Choose. Try.
That's it. That's it. Chris, bro, you and I, we have a lot of work that we need to do. Thank you to to be my first streaming guest on the Father's Chair.
I feel honored.
The platform that is still going to grow, where fathers will speak their mind, change our narrative. We have our narrative in our hands. Speak our story, speak our mind, speak how we feel, where we lead, take the lead and lead our communities, lead our children, lead our families to for the better world. Thank you, Chris D. Where did you find you? Where did you find you? On social,
Uh,
Instagram?
yeah, yeah. I got Instagram is Highway QHAWE_6 on Instagram, and Ameri Zulu on TikTok. We got some
Only,
funny stuff.
only they knew what American is gonna come into. They're gonna lose their minds.
You can find out why in a minute. Come through. Come say hi.
Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your mind with us. Thank you, and host of mine. Thank you, thank you. Have a good one, brother.
All right, bro. Later.